Today I'm replacing the tires on my e-bike. This is Himiway Zebra. We've got the front tire already replaced. I'm going to show you the rear tire because this is the part that always ends up confusing people. So the main difference between this and a regular bike is just going to be this wire right here. We want to make sure that when we drop this tire out that it does not pull this cable out, because if it damages that cable, then you're going to turn your bike from an e-bike into a manual bike. Some of them have one zip tie, some have two, some have three. This one has three. So I want to make sure that you're cutting that zip tie and not the cable. And we can unplug it. Sometimes these will just pull straight out. This one has a thread on it. This is a better style. So you just de-thread that and pull straight out. And you can see that little notch there on the top. That is going to be what lines this cable up whenever we're done. So this is now disconnected. We can drop that tire out. We don't have to worry about pulling that cable. This wire actually goes up to the brake light. We don't have to worry about that one. All we have to worry about with that one is to make sure that we don't tug on it while we're pulling the tire out. So then it is just a matter of loosening up these nuts. This is just a little rubber cap. We got one on this side and we got one on this side. We can't loosen it. We can take it all the way off if we want to. It doesn't really matter. Some people like taking off the derailleur. Some people like taking off the brake caliper. So that's going to be what the brake sits on. That does make it easier to take off and reinstall the tire, but it is not necessary. Here's where we're taking a look at which gear this chain is on so you can put it back whenever you're done. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4 from the inside. If you wanted to, you could adjust the gear to be higher so it'll be closer to the outside so you have a little bit more clearance taking this guy off, but that is going to be up to you. Now this derailleur does have some movement on it, so you can see we can actually slack up that chain quite a bit, and we can also pull the derailleur back a little bit. Now you don't want to mess with the derailleur too awful much, especially on that side to side, so this can actually go in and out, and that is going to be what adjusts our gear. It is possible if we kick that around too much that we will throw off where that lands on that gear, and that is what makes it so that whenever you're adjusting the gears on the handlebars or it doesn't quite line up, you always hear it clicking over and over. Now that can be adjusted still, so if that happens and it's not the end of the world, it's just worth keeping in mind that the less damage you do to the derailleur, the better off you're going to be in the long run. So there is a couple of flats right there, and if the flats aren't lining up, it won't drop, but it looks like it is actually lined up. So it is going to come out this direction, so that will contact the derailleur. Basically, it's just kind of free floating right now. Now, if we want to, we can get ourselves a little bit more slack in the chain just by pulling this up and laying it over the front, but you do not have to do that. It looks like on the other side we have an anti-twist nut on here, so this is going to lock in, make sure that that can't spin. Now when I loosen this up and this drops out, the whole wheel might fall out, so gotta be careful of that. And we do still have these little washers on here. You can kind of see they've got a little notch. This notch is going to be facing basically that U where the tire sits. This is going to be going in there, and this U is going to be facing the bottom. So you just want to remember when we go to put this back in that this is going the same direction as the wire. If we put it in the other way, that's going to give us problems. And there is one on both sides. So those will both be facing the same direction. We do want to avoid hitting that brake as much as possible. We also want to avoid getting oils from our fingers on it as much as possible. It is easier said than done most of the time, but yeah, just do as good as you can. So this is a valve remover. This is just going to be how I'm going to be removing the air from this tire. You can just take like a screwdriver and stick it in there and hold it. Just going to unscrew, try to grab it so that it doesn't shoot across the room. Now there's nothing wrong with this tire. It's actually still got fairly good tread on it. The only reason I'm replacing is because on my front tire, I had a tube go bad, so I wanted to replace those, and I figured while I do that, I'll upgrade the tires as well. With this one, I had a liner. This is a Mr. Tuffy liner. They are good. I prefer using those. I could keep this too, but once I've ran it, I usually just throw them away. Tubes do not last forever. So this tube is also by HEB. I got an HEB Allscape tire, got an HEB tube. I like these because they are a little thicker, a little more resilient. Of course, you know, if a thorn goes in there, it's still going to puncture it. That's why I like getting myself as much protection as I can. So I got this, got a very heavy duty tube. I'm going to put myself in as good a position as I can. I also usually put slime in. I'm not going to do that with this one because I ran out, but I'll probably put slime in on it later. Finally, this is usually easier if I put some air in there just to get it started. I do have a direction, so you can kind of see right there. It says rotation is that way. We know that the brake was on our left side. We need to make sure that we are matching that to the rotation of the bike. And with these liners, you want to make it so that there's like a treaded part and there's a smooth part. The smooth part goes toward the tube. So kind of a pain, but if it prevents you from getting a flat, then it is totally worth it. We're going to line up that stem. And it's just a matter of fitting everything back in without pinching that tube. Okay, so all in. What we want to do is we want to make sure that with that stem, that it is not angled. So if it was leaning like that, then that would mean that when we inflate it, that's going to tear that stem. So you can kind of see right there, it is at an angle. That's no good. We want to pull that until that is straight up and down. So now I'm going to inflate, but I'm not going to inflate to the full PSI. What we want to do right here is we want to make sure that we are seating the tire correctly. This is not like an old mountain bike. These fat tires, you got to really be careful about how they actually sit inside that rim. Alright, so we have a little bit of air in there. And what we want to look for is there's a ring that goes all the way around it. We want to make sure that that ring is the same spacing all the way around. So if you have more ring showing over here and less ring over here, then we are going to be in a problem when we actually go to ride this thing. So there is more ring showing here. You can see it's almost about to pop out. So I'm just going to push that in. And with this, for every action, there is an unequal and opposite overreaction. You just got to spin the tire, see how things are lining up. And we also have to check both sides. You can see we got a big gap there. All right, and little by little. Right here, this is where it's giving me a problem. So it's way out right here, and it's sunk in right there. So I need to move that. And we can also see the stem is kind of bent over. So I'm going to have to let some air out and try again. What we don't want to have happen is go for a ride and have this thing burst on us. You can see I'm still not even registering PSI yet, because once we get to a point where we are registering PSI, it makes it a lot harder to move this tire. Battery's getting low, so I might have to change to another compressor, but we are looking for 30 PSI, so that is what this tire can handle. Yeah. This bolt, it's not actually perfectly round. It's got some flats cut into it, and those flats are going to sit inside that channel. So we need to get the chain on this gear, preferably the 4th gear. And we can slide that back and forth. It does not matter. We need to get that brake into the caliper, and we need to get that axle slid into that slot. So when we tighten this up, we need to pull the tire up as much as we can, or we can just take the whole bike and lay it on the tire, then tighten that nut up. That is going to be up to you how you want to do that. For me, I prefer setting the tire on the ground just so I know that the frame is sitting on that axle. Here you can kind of wiggle it back and forth and make sure that that is properly lined up. Now, I'm sure there is a torque spec for this nut, but I'm just putting on about that tight. Looks like the chain fell off. Not a big deal. And we are on the 5th sprocket. So I'm going to try to get that lined up. There we go. That way we have no surprises when we go to kick off. This thing is the cable. So just push it together, spin it on, and zip ties. Pretty big one in comparison to what came off. The only important thing here is that it fits. You can see even a big one does fit. And ideally, you want it to be UV resistant. So that way it does not get damaged with sunlight. So UV resistant zip ties, and don't zip tie to the spokes. So there we go, 2 new HEB Allscape tires with inner tubes and with Mr. Tuffy liners. I do have to say, they look a heck of a lot better than those old knobby tires. And that guy is infinitely quieter than with those knobby tires.